No, so. Oh, got it. Thanks, Martin. I forgot I've got the actions of it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The show is live, as they say, so we can record. Just remember not to do any expletives, and so I just done. Anyway, I'm Kirit from Development Work Around Cancer. So we just go around the room, just say who we are and what background we were doing. Martin?
Yeah, I'm Martin. I'm the communications worker for Answer Cancer. I think I've met a couple of you before.
Tracy?
Hi, I'm Tracy Collard. I'm the Cancer Screening Improvement Lead for the Breast Screening Service in Bolton. I also cover Bury and Rochdale.
Thanks, Tracy. Tom, I know you kind of said it again, but...
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Tom. I work in preventative healthcare, so I've done smoke cessation, weight management, diabetes prevention.
Thanks, Tom. Abdul?
Yeah, it's Abdul Shakur. I'm a voluntarily treasurer for charity Multicultural Resource Center, and I work for Tameside Oldham and Glossop Mine as a COVID-19 dementia and learning disabilities engagement.
Sorry, thanks, Abdul. And also, I think you've got lots of relationships in both Bolton and in Rochdale, Tracy, if you wanted to connect with Abdul.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, I'm assuming you haven't. No, okay. And then Jackie, well done. Sorry. Hi, Jackie. Can you say where you are and who you are? No. We're going to be struggling with Jackie tonight, I think, in terms of that digital connection. Is it the weather? No, never quite sure what causes this. Okay, so in terms of breast cancer, we'll just hopefully Jackie can communicate at some points in the evening. We were hoping to talk about some of the things we're engaged in around Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we've got an ongoing plan of work we want to do. Answer Cancer. I can safely say that we are going to hopefully be doing this program for the next year or so. And that means that we've got an opportunity to continue to build on what we've done. So in terms of encouraging, engaging champions, becoming champions, and getting organizations on board, doing more localized work. And part of that localized work is doing more building kind of community networks, if you like, within those areas, because Greater Manchester, we can't expect people to travel across. Now that we're starting to emerge out of our lockdown, we wanted us to try to think about those opportunities really, where we can have events happening in each of the locations that we're working in. And hopefully we do that regularly. And then the other aspect that we've also got is a grants launch. Hi there, Nazleen. Welcome. Can you hear us, Nazleen? Can you hear us?
Hi.
You can?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear you. Oh,
brilliant. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Do you just want to say who you are, Nazleen? I know you, but for the others who don't know you. It's just, the connection is terrible, isn't it? Can you?
Hi, everyone. Just a thumbs up. Yeah, I'm Dr. Nazleen. I have moved from India. I'm here 4 months. So I'm a part of Answer Cancer program. So it's very nice meeting you all.
Oh, fabulous, Nazleen. And Nazleen is a doctor, and she's recently just signed up. Yeah, and just wants to be engaging and wants to find out more and get involved. So that's fabulous. And it's particularly in areas that we really need as well, which is central Manchester. So it's fabulous to have Nazleen on board and her experience and expertise and learning about our ways of doing things and learning a lot of the stuff that we can learn from as well from Nazleen too. Fabulous, Nazleen. We just started out talking about what we're planning to do in terms of the going forward. And one of the things that are coming forward, Tracy, Tom, is this grants program. We had a very successful outreach this time round. We had around 48 applications. And that meant that not all of them went through because we could only support around 20. So we had expression of interest from 48 groups, and we put forward actually 26. So of the 26, we will hopefully able to well, this is up to the panel. I'm not part of the decision-making panel, but I'm helping and supporting groups that have made their application. And there's some really interesting and fabulous projects in the ones I've seen so far around gyms. There's a gym in Bolton, Tracy, that potentially could be really good, working with Asian women who wouldn't necessarily see in gyms. So that's the thing, isn't it? And these are Asian women who are of the ages between 50 and 70, right? And that's another good, you know, and so those are, I mean, she only said a couple of words to me, a couple of sentences, and I already bought into the idea, you know, I didn't need to be told anymore. I think the fact of seeing people from minority backgrounds exercising and doing well, and by particularly people with what do they call it, BMI? I don't know what it stands for, but anyway, whatever that index is, whatever that is, it's something
it's
that.
Body,
sorry, Abdul?
It's a body mass body mass index.
That's it. Thank you, Abdul. I was going to struggle there. Thank you, saving me there. Another save, well saved. Just in terms of health engagement, and you know, we're all doing it. It's quite hard to get this across. So the fact that people are putting the first step out and actually physically getting out there into the community, into these centers, these leisure centers particularly. So yeah, so we're definitely very intrigued, and hopefully they do well and they get through this round, you know, this next round. All right. Anyway, so that's a good part. So the part of this job is really exciting, is that with those potential projects, we might have 20 different kind of work being done across our region around various different aspects of either breast cancer, bowel cancer, or bowel, breast, and cervical cancer. And each of them will offer something different in terms of engagement, resources, videos, animation, whatever they come up with. It will just add to hopefully a legacy of work that will continue beyond this project, beyond this next year that we've got. So that's all exciting. And the other thing I've been really stressing to all the groups I've been speaking to is to really think beyond just doing an event or a leaflet or a flyer. It does something, but it doesn't do what we really want. What we want is a conversation and a connection to the reality of what it feels like, or to go through or be experiencing cancer, and then to know what to, not to say what to know what to say, because I don't think there is a right or wrong way to say. I think it's about how do they have that conversation and what will they connect with. So that's what I can't wait, guys, to see what all of that happens. So that's quite exciting news, really. And in terms of breast cancer awareness, we've done, you may have seen it, we did as part of Prevent Breast Cancer. Martin, how can you describe it? Let me talk too much, because I lose my voice. Martin, can you describe it?
Well, it was distributing flowers and breast cancer awareness messages to members of the public in a couple of areas of Manchester, so Eastlands, Asda, and Levenshulme, Aspire. So it was basically getting out there, getting to people who wouldn't necessarily turn up to a kind of a programmed event, but who are just kind of walking down the street, and just kind of encourage them to check themselves regularly, go for screening, all of the core messages around breast cancer. Is that right, Kazi? Hear it? You see me?
No, that's good. Sorry, Martin. No, thank you, Martin. That's exactly it. I'm sorry, I do talk a lot, so I need to cut myself short. Put it back. Yeah, so thank you, Martin. That's exactly it. And I think we had around eight champions who came forward who wanted to do something, you know, give some of their time to this. And I think it was good. I think we reached a lot of women. In fact, I personally saw lots of people just crying because they were given that flower and it just connected them to a loss. I saw a woman who was a hijabbed woman just coming out of the leisure center, and she talked about her loss of her partner, her life partner, her husband, I think, and it was painful to watch. But that was our challenge, I think, on the day. I think that was our challenge. I think the easier part was just giving to flowers, with just people, you know, could love to give the flowers, isn't it? But the hard part was people who've been impacted by it. And there were so many of that on the day that I think it just shows the level of work that we need to do, the amount of engagement that we need to do. I think we're just scratching the surface. I really think we've been scratching, and partly this COVID has shown that we just just scratching the surface. Anyway, so there was a good event. Trace, any thoughts about it? Did you have any involvement?
Yeah, I've actually been doing lots of events throughout the month in different places. I've talked to lots of groups of women face to face, and I've been out to 3 of the Asdas now in Bolton and had a stand And it's exactly the same. People have been coming up to me and not necessarily wanting information from me, but telling me about somebody that they've lost, or that they've been for breast screening because their sister caught it and died. And it's very sad, but the message is getting out there. People, first of all, that wanted to give me money. Everyone wanted to donate some money, but I wasn't there to take money. I was there to give out information. A lot of young Asian girls came to talk to me as well for their parents. So I gave them information which hopefully they'd take back and share with their mothers and their grandmothers. So it's gone really well, actually, and I've still got a few more to do for the rest of the month, but I've been out nearly every day doing something.
Fabulous to hear, Tracy. I think that's the point, isn't it? I think we really are. I mean, our champions are coming from all walks of life, and they're doing existing work already, and that's the challenge. It's not a challenge so much; it's trying to find an opportunity that they can easily kind of fit into. So finding opportunities for them to be part of, even though these things we know they're coming, we just get such short notice sometimes. Like we have to think less than a few weeks really to handle the prevent breast cancer thing that happened. So for us, I suppose it's about having more spaces like that for us to communicate, get that communication things quick early enough, but also those opportunities, finding those opportunities for people to do that. So yeah, so I think it's
the other thing, Kirit, on Saturday, last Saturday, I was actually on Bolton Asian radio. So I was on there for an hour talking about breast screening, and she's going to share the link of that, which I can share with everybody once that comes through. So that was quite a positive hour of my time as well.
Oh, nice one, Tracy. And just to show you that Bolton Hospice, I spoke to a couple of their individuals who work for them who signed up as lead champions on our work, and I said about doing kind of networking event through their work in the Bolton Hospice and connecting to their, I don't know where they are in relation to Bolton, because this is the hard part about the geography of Greater Manchester. When they mention a name, I think, where does that actually look like? Where is it? So yeah, so that'll definitely help us out, Tracy, when it comes to that point of where do we need to be in these areas. And yeah, so that's a good part of what we're doing now, I think, Tracy. So thank you for sharing that, because I think the radio links that we've made, the connections we've made, I think there's lots of invaluable work we could do around connecting everything up together. Still, there's a lot to do. Still a lot to do. I had this quiz in mind, and I'm not sure whether I should show you the quiz and show you my ignorance, or Martin, can you put me back as host again? Because I think I'll need to show the screen, don't I? It's a quiz that, our partner Unique Improvements put up on our website for resources that people can download and utilize for their own work. Right, Martin, hopefully still there.
Yeah, I think Naslin just came back into the waiting room if you want to let her back in. Right. Can't do it now because...
I'll stop sharing. Okay, Martin. Okay, back in the... Okay. Yeah, it's a sad... So that's a hard part of this Zoom stuff. It's this logging in and out nonsense because things don't work, technology-wise. But anyway, let's keep going. Right now, I've let Naslin in.
Yeah.
I'll just share our... Okay, I just need to share back, go back to sharing our screening. Here we go. Right. Tracy, I think you know the answers, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't think I should take part in this, really.
Well, let us know if there's anything we should know then, Tracy, that we should be aware of or mindful of. Okay, so the first question is, in England, what age are women and trans men registered as female invited to attend for their breast screening?
So we're putting our answers in the chat, is that right, Kieran?
Yeah, put it in the chat, please. Is that to me, private? I don't know whether, just do it. I don't think it matters. Just put your answer, what you think is, and then we'll just see.
Right, so Tom's come in with 35. Anyone else got any ideas for this?
What about you, Abdul?
I was trying to find this chat room, but yeah, I think it's 18.
18, okay.
18, right.
Okay. Naslin? I know this is a completely new world for you. What do you think, Naslin?
I just got connected. I missed a lot of points because of the network issue. But what he was saying is trans men and trans women invited to attend for their breast mammogram. I think it is in a later stage, not at so early stage. Somebody was saying 18. It's not 18 probably. because mammogram generally they usually do at a later stage, not so early. Though cancer, even breast cancer less than 40 also many cases are there.
Okay, thank
So
you,
I
Nazaleen.
feel that way. I'm not
Well,
sure, right?
So what's your guess then, Nazaleen? In that case, rough guess. If you had to, you have to get an age. What age would you say?
That would be, I think it's like 50 plus.
Okay.
For mammography.
Right, here we go to our expert then, Tracy. What do you think?
It is indeed, yes, it's 50.
50.
Yeah.
50 to 70.
70, yeah.
To 70. And then after 70, they can still be invited, no, Tracy?
Yeah, they won't automatically be invited, but they can self-refer every 3 years if they want to.
And these letters that when they're invited, they come from where? They come from the GPs?
Yeah.
No, they don't come from the GPs. It's based on your GP practice. So all the ladies from a particular GP practice will be invited at the same time, but it comes from a central source.
Okay, thanks, Tracy. That's really helpful to know.
Tracy, is it the case that you have to be registered with a GP to get the letter, though?
You certainly do, yes.
Right. So it's obviously important to make sure your details are up to date and your address and stuff.
Yeah.
Nazaleen?
Yeah. One thing I need to tell, those who are trans men or trans women who are registered as male, if they don't get invitation, they actually they need to inquire on themselves if they are registered as man. In that case, I'm talking only if you are registered as female, or if you are a female, only those people they get the invitation.
Yeah, exactly.
Am I right?
That's
Am
it.
I
That's
right?
it, exactly.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah.
Well done, everyone. Well done. Okay, so what is a mammogram? Breast screen. Right.
I think it's an X-ray of the picture of the breast.
Okay, that sounds positive, very, very positive and plausible. Tom, do you have a different view, or?
I think the same as Abdul. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it's like an X-ray of the breast tissue to find cancerous.
Yeah, Nazaleen, you're an expert.
I don't want to talk on medical terms, but yes, it's a diagnostic tool which is like X-ray. It's not exactly X-ray, but it's like an X-ray thing. So when we talk to the common man, we can say it's just like another X-ray what you do. It's not an invasive thing, nothing like that. We can just say in that way.
Okay, brilliant. And I think one of the things about this I think, Tracy, the issue about the screening has been around the physicality of it. And this is I've heard so many times now, Tracy, from my conversations in my engagement sessions about it being painful, it not being embarrassing and painful. I think the more things they talk about is the pain aspect of it. Tracy, how can you reassure people about that pain thing? What can we say?
I'd say it's more uncomfortable than painful. It can be painful for the very rare person, but that's usually if the breast isn't completely in the right position, if you like. What I would say is the actual mammogram itself takes seconds. So even if it is uncomfortable, it will literally be 2 or 3 seconds, well, 5 seconds maximum, and then it's gone. The plate lifts up straight away. Right. So a few seconds, there are 4 mammograms that will be taken, 2 on each breast. So a few seconds for all of those x-rays, and then that is it, it's done, and it can save your life. So it really is worth persevering. And
Tracy, is there any point that they can say stop if it's painful?
Oh, absolutely. If it is painful, yes, please speak up and say it's painful, and they'll release the plate straight away, and then they might have to reposition the lady. But yes, absolutely.
Great, Tracy, great. Because that was one of the things that came up, is that they felt that they couldn't speak up. Nazaleen?
Yeah. If suppose painful, normally it won't be, but like suppose there is an underlying node, there is an swollen node or a swollen breast, in that case it may be painful. Like usually they don't complain pain. That's what I know.
Right. Now this is it, isn't it? People say I don't know. I can't comment.
I'm so sorry I'm getting a call.
Don't worry, Nazaleen. That's good to have your thoughts and comments as well. Okay, the next question. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in the UK. I missed the question. So number 3, so I missed a question. Look at this, I can't even read my own question. Okay, men can attend for a breast screen mammogram, true or false?
I think it's true.
Oh, I'm not sure either. Tom, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking true. I think, like Nazaleen said, maybe men won't be invited, but they could maybe book one. I don't know. Right. I'm going with true. I'll guess true.
I think it's true because there is a certain percentage of men, those who can develop breast cancer as well.
Right. Well, that's definitely true. Men do get breast cancer. Small percentages around. I think it's the three. Tracy, what's Martin? Do you have a view before I look to our two experts?
I know the answer, so
you know the answer. Okay, yeah. Then that's what you can't. I don't know the answer to this. I should know the answer to this, and I don't know it. But I'm going. Okay, Tracy, give us a clue. Give us the answer.
Yeah. So there's about 350 men a year will develop breast cancer, whereas it's put me on the spot now, something like 55,000 women. Men don't automatically come for a mammogram, but if they develop a lump or they have any concerns, and then they could get referred into the unit. So yeah, they will have a mammogram, but it's very rare.
Very rare, but they can have it. Huh? Okay, brilliant.
And also, just as we mentioned earlier, obviously, if you're a trans man, then you might be able to get screened as well, but you need to speak to your GP if you're registered as a man and not female.
Absolutely,
okay. Yeah. Great, thanks, Martin. Okay, question number 4 then. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in the UK, true or false? I'm asking the questions. I can be a facilitator. This is good, isn't it?
I'm going to guess true. I'm going to guess true.
Go true. Oh. Abdul.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's true as well. Nazaleen?
Martin, I am new to UK. I can't guess that. I don't want to guess that. I have to go by the facts and numbers. So it's better I don't answer.
Okay. Martin, you know that.
I've got the answers. Do you want me to give the answer?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so it's actually true. So breast cancer is the most common in the UK. So 15% of all new cancer cases are for breast cancer. That's combined female and males. The next most common cancers are prostate, lung, and bowel, which is obviously one of the other screening programs for bowel cancer.
Right, Martin, great, isn't it? Martin, just checking. I'm recording, and if I put myself on mute, would that mean this recording stops the mute?
Not too sure.
Not too sure. Oh, anyway, okay. Let's hope that it still records our voices. If I mute, you're still recorded. That makes sense. Okay. Then the next question: 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. True or false?
You missed the 5th one.
Did I? Oh God, I'm not good at this, am I? I'm going to be terrible.
We've covered that, haven't we?
We have covered that one.
Cancer, yeah. So yeah, men can get breast cancer too. So yeah. I think it's around, like Tracy said, around 350, 370 men each year in the UK. So it is a lot rarer, but it still is something possible. And we've actually got some champions who are male breast cancer survivors, interestingly. So
yeah, and Tracy, this is what we haven't done much work around breast cancer awareness in men. And I don't know, and there hasn't been, apart from some of these champions who are wanting to kind of really promote it, we haven't. And I don't know whether that's missive on our part to do more on it, and because it's such a rare thing. But it's like all these conditions which are in a minority. What do you think, Tracy?
When I do my talks, I always mention about males, and I always ask them to be chest aware. So if it's a group of women, I'll ask them to pass it on to their partners or their husbands or fathers, whatever, and tell them to be chest aware. And there is a really good video clip, actually, which was on the, I think it was Dr. Hilary Jones did it. So I can send that to you if you like, because it's really good for men to be able to check themselves, and it shows you exactly how to do it.
I think, Tracy, that would be fabulous. If you do share, then we could put it onto our YouTube channel, and we can make that as a part of our e-bulletin stuff, because we want to share about what information resources are out there that people can, and particularly this is our month, isn't it? That we should be really kind of celebrating and shouting out loud, if that's the right expression. Okay, so the next question was 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer. Did we answer that? Did we say yes or no?
No, we didn't. Yeah, no,
we haven't. So what do we think? I'll go to Tom first. Tom.
I think true. Yeah, I think true.
True. Okay. Abdul?
I think it's not true.
Not true. Oh, you think it's false?
No.
You think more women or less then?
I think it's less, I would say.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'm terrible with maths anyways. I don't know whether it's 1 in 10 would make a difference.
I think it's more on the lifestyle, isn't it? It depends. If people are going to change their habits, lifestyle modification they are doing, I think the number is going to, be less. So if they are not, we are still into, unhealthy lifestyle and all, apart from the risk factors which we can't change. I'm talking about the risk factor which we can change.
Right.
If we, actively, do something to change the risk factor, then I think the number, should be low in the near future.
That's an interesting point, Nazlin. I think you're right. I think if we say the risk factors are around smoking, drinking,
alcohol,
eating, yes, that's right.
Overweight, yeah. Overweight, it has to do with breast cancer.
So if the next generation became by superwoman powers, they were able to change their ways of doing things, we might actually see that reduction. So anyway, what is the answer then, Martin?
So that's actually true. So just a few figures. So one person in the UK is diagnosed with breast cancer every 10 minutes. So that's pretty scary to think about. There's 150 new cases diagnosed every day, and in total 56,000 new cases each year. So you kind of see the difference between male and female breast cancer if you compare 56,000 female cases and about 350 male cases.
No, it does just show that it's a tissue, isn't it? It's a breast tissue, isn't it? That's what kind of the space, I suppose, for it to happen and occur in. Okay, so anyway, the next question: what percentage of women will survive their breast cancer if caught early, at an early stage? I think that's what it says, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 25%, 63%, 85%, or 98%.
Right, come on, guys. So I'd go with Abdul first. Abdul? Are you still there, Abdul? Oh, we lost Abdul. Oh, it's the joy of this evening. Technology. Tom, then, we've got you last week. Couple of minutes.
I'm on the spot then. Am I the only person who doesn't know the answer to these? I think it's going to be 98%. I believe that breast cancer is one of the cancers that is most treatable. So I'm going to go with 98%.
I'd kind of agree with you, Tom. I think in my sessions I think I say that figure at that end because it's such a, if caught early, isn't it? That's what I think as well. And that's, Tracy, are you going to give us the heads up on that one?
I think it is 98%, yeah.
Martin?
Yeah, so it is 98%. You're both right. So 98% of women will survive their breast cancer for 5 years or more if diagnosed at stage 1. However, less than 25% will survive if diagnosed at stage 4. So obviously the survival rate drops quite dramatically as it progresses.
Okay, thanks, Martin.
So I mean, the key message that we've got here is that if you notice anything, then obviously don't wait for your mammogram. Just go straight to your GP. Don't wait for your next screening appointment.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Right, question number 8. So I'm going to keep track now of my numbers now. Number 8. How often should women self-check? Once a year, once a month, once a week, once a day? I think common sense tells you can't do once a year.
No, it's just matter of few seconds. I think women should self-check once a day. It doesn't take much time, right? Self-examination actually is very important. When we talk about breast cancer, this is the most thing we have, this self-examination. So it's just, because it's your own body, right? The other person cannot examine that so often. So it's like, you know the changes in the shape, the changes in the size. Every month there is menstrual cycle in reproductive age groups. So they have effect on the shape of your, size of your, breast. So in that case, you can understand. Suppose during your menstrual phase, you are coming and examining your breast for the someone who is examining may not be, it may seems to be, a bit larger compared to the other breast, but that is, that is quite normal. So self-examination in that case, I personally will once a day or once a week, if one does, that is in a matter of, 10, 15 seconds, she can just palpate or just stand in the bathroom mirror and just see. That's the best thing one can do, rather than, going and, coming to that stage and taking the loads of tension. Because now we don't know who is going to have breast cancer, because the lifestyle, everybody today, we are living in a stage where, we actually don't have much, time, or we don't give much time for a healthy lifestyle. So I think these are the things which at least we can do. I don't know. What's your opinion on this?
Thanks, Nazaleen. I think, I've been kind of Tracy, what do you think in terms of the testing, self-checking?
What we actually say is once a month. And there is actually, there's an app called Copperfield that will literally send you a text message once a month on the first of the month to remind you to do it every month. But I think the most important thing is that you need to get to know your body. It's not just about examining yourself. You need to look at yourself in the mirror as well to see whether your breasts change over a period of time. So it's really getting to know what you're like, and it's only if things change from month to month that you need to really go and see your GP.
Thanks, Tracy. I think that's really helpful, because I think the app is really helpful as well. That idea that some people, I think it depends on the kind of person, but people sometimes need reminders, and whatever that reminder or a way of measuring or taking that in. Okay, Abdul's coming back, hopefully, fingers crossed. Tracy, so yes, so thank you for that. I think that's really helpful. The resource is helpful. Also, the idea, the timing of when that should happen is important too. Okay, right, moving on. The risk of breast cancer. Hi, Abdul, can you hear us, hopefully?
Yeah, I don't know, something went wrong.
Don't worry. I don't know, you missed a couple of our questions, but we'll hopefully catch up. We're at question number 9. The risk of breast cancer is higher in people with a family history of breast cancer. True or false?
True. I think it's true.
Abdul thinks it's true. Yeah,
True, yeah.
We all agree. I think that's definitely is higher because we have a history of it, or somebody in our family has a history of it. Tracy, do you want to add to anything to that apart from
if you have say your mother and your sister or your auntie or your grandmother, if you've got 2 or more women in your family that have had breast cancer, then you can be referred to our family history service at the hospital, and they will do yearly mammograms from about the age of 40, I think it is, just to keep an eye on you to see that nothing is developing. So if anybody does have a family history, it's really recommended that they ask their GP to be referred into the unit, and then they'll be monitored. That's good to know, Tracy. I think that additional knowledge about it being impacted on your life, in your family, and then you know that there's we have our champions, Tracy. Some of them their family members have been impacted by it. So I think that's a really good message to send out to them as well, to say, in a protective way, really. That's good. Thanks, Tracy. And now finally, and I will number 10, and this is number 10 definitely. Breast screening can save your life. True or false?
True. Yeah.
Right, we'll all agree.
Yeah, right. True.
This is a good mantra, isn't it? About the screening program there to save our lives. What do you think, Tracy, in terms of messaging, how do you think that's coming across in terms of your engagement sessions? Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah. I think a lot of people initially think that if they don't find a lump, they're not going to have breast cancer. But screening can find breast cancer years before you'll ever find a lump. So it really is important. And that's one of the messages that I try and get out to everybody. Thanks, Tracy, because that's the thing that I'm trying to get my head around, is to describe people as these are testing people, healthy people, for looking for unhealthy things. That's the best way I can describe it. And but also everything can be fine, and things don't happen over time. This is why it happens at interval. We're going at regular interval to look at what's happening in your body, because you're changing, your bodies might be changing, we might be eating differently, we might be exercising, so things we're not the same as we were when we were 25, but I'd like to think I was, still am. But yeah, we're not the same, definitely. I'm not the same as I was 25. I can't run as fast, for sure. Martin, is there anything else that we need to add here about this question?
No, I don't think so. No, I think we've covered most things. Just one stat that we've got in the answers here is that more than 18,000 breast cancers are diagnosed through screening in England each year. So that's obviously a lot of women who are being born at an earlier stage and potentially, like you said, saving their life.
Why did you say 18,000?
18,000, yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, isn't it? That's a lot of people. So I think this is why I think that this program is so, I don't know, I mean, it's got so many questions and answers around it, isn't it? I think it's a good program. I didn't like the word answer cancer, but I think answer is a good answer to this, isn't it? There's a response to this, isn't it? In a way, it does make sense. So thank you, everyone, for taking part. So I'll stop sharing.
I just
Thanks,
need to add on one thing.
Go on, Nazli.
Yeah, I just need to add on, when we talk about this lump or swelling, we should also, when we go for wearing people, just not the lumps. Sometimes the lumps or the nodes are very small, which, you fail to get in when you self-examine, you may miss it. Okay, so we also need to tell about the other symptoms that are associated with breast cancer, like the changes in the nipple or the changes in the area nearing the nipple, that is the areola. So that we should also tell, if you see any discharge through your nipple, if there is some time, pulling of the nipple. Okay, so if there is a node inside, a swelling inside, there is some time you cannot feel that, but there will be pulling of the breast tissue. In that case, your nipple also retracts. So these are the additional thing we need to tell them when they self-examine, because sometimes they can also look for redness if there is sudden change in color in particular area of the breast. Because sometimes you don't feel the lump or the swelling if it's very small. So the associated things also we need to examine. Okay, thank you, Nazli. I think there are good examples of resources now, Nazli. So you may not come across them because you've only been here 4 months. So coming up to speed. Nazli, there's things from breast cancer now. I'll give you an example. It's on my desk that I can show you. That's an example. This is in
Stop sharing, Karen.
Oh, sorry, Bengali. I was trying to think what language it was, Martin. It's upside down. Well, I don't, sorry. What's it called? It's opposite reflective, isn't it? So I can't show it to you. Anyway, so that's the one. But it's great. Tracy, sorry, you want to say something? No, I was going to say that actually the resources in different languages, what we're trying to do now through our program is try to develop as many different types of resources we can, and also trying to host them. Abdul, you had to put your hand up.
You know what, in Bolton, the work of Tracy is highly recognized by South Asian community. I was talking, in fact, yesterday, a person called Imtiaz Patel, and he managed this Gujarati community and the radio station, and I'm sure Tracy was on that radio. And then it was highly appreciated especially I don't remember the name of the ward, it's Crompton ward, Crompton. And he was talking about, in fact, that a lady who talks about cancer, and you should have that in your group in Rochdale as well. So I'm sure this is the same Tracy which we have today here.
It was me, yes, it was.
It's our local celebrity, Tracy. Tracy's our local celebrity. She's on our radio shows now, so hopefully we all get a kind of a 5-year deal with ITV. I don't know. Sorry, Abdul.
I think it's called Vohra Community Radio, where Tracy went. It's Vohra Radio, and it goes, I think, over thousands of people through other social media channel, which I'm not good in technology, but Imtiaz Patel, his name, he mentioned me that, and he works for my organization as well sometimes. So he was talking about that when I told him that we are putting this poetry reading event and cancer awareness thing. So he was talking about Tracy there. So
thank you.
Seriously, that's really good to hear, Abdul, because getting feedback like that is so important, because we don't know what's working, what communications this sometimes goes out into the ether, and sometimes you don't get that feedback. So that's thank you for sharing, Abdul. And it's much appreciated, I think, because the strides we're making now is that it will eventually, all of this will become almost like secondhand about the things that we're talking about. It'll become second nature to us to talk about it. I know we've got a lot of conversations to get it moving. I think my learning from the prevent cancer thing was, how do we broach a subject which is almost very difficult to speak about? That's what, because it's so hard and people are impacted by it. I think people go down to a different space. And I don't think our program there's no counseling or therapeutic side to it. Does that make sense, Tracy?
Yeah.
Am I making sense? So it's a bit of a, I think there's a bit of a question there for us to think about, really.
And also, sorry, Kirit,
Abdul?
There was one thing which came out with my community engagement and my work with South Asian people, that when they are receiving a letter from GP or hospital, I think when they write the name of the person, they should write the full name. Sometimes what they are doing, the example which came, a gentleman, Mr. Khan, who is my friend, and his name is Sajid Khan, and his daughter is called Shahnaz Khan. So the letter was Miss S. Khan. Now that Sajid Khan missed out the word miss, and he just thought it's my letter. He opened the letter. It was about, I think, breast screening or some smear test or something. And now he was really feeling that how I can give this letter to my daughter that this is yours. So he was struggling, this cultural issue when it comes to sexuality or all these gynae issues, then father is not very easy talking with daughter. So then I told him to get another envelope, we put her address, and then you just leave it in the desk and she will take it. So I think the naming system really makes sometimes issues. It's not a big issue, but it can happen too sometimes.
Thanks, Abdul. Tracy, could you comment on that, Tracy, in terms of...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think the breast screening ones are addressed like that. I think they do have the full name, but I will check on that.
Yeah, I think it was smear test. I think smear.
Right. I'll check on that.
Yeah.
I suppose this is one of the things. Thanks, Abdul, for sharing that, because I think obviously there are sensitivities about how these letters are seen and how they're open and what's read and what's interpretation through that. And then, so there's a lot of work to be done just around the letter itself, if that makes any sense. And that's just the letter. That's just the letter. It's just an invitation.
The one thing that I would say is that all of the letters go out in English. So if somebody doesn't speak English, unfortunately, they will have to rely on a family member or friend to read it for them. And that's something that's out of our control because we don't know what language people speak. So they'll all go out in English.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know. It's loads of English. Like in Bolton, people speak 17 different languages.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the point I suppose is about there's work to be done around sensitizing the community about what these letters mean. And then there's work to be done about where there are things which are technical or which are administratively in our control that we could change. So I think things like, naming and how it's named and making that clear, maybe that's one of the things that could be looked at, Trace, I agree.
Yeah.
But it could be more broader question is whether what we do to sensitize people to awareness around what these letters mean and what they do about them. So thanks, Abdul, for sharing that. And I think hopefully your project proposal, when it goes forward, will address some of that sensitivity and opening up a conversation. And those letters, examples of what those letters are. So maybe that might be one of the things that we could put out, maybe, Tracy, anonymized a little bit. Maybe we could just have the letter and we could just have the letter on our website, maybe, Martin. What do you think? If we have the letter, look what it looks like and what it means.
Yeah.
Without putting the details of the people.
Yeah. You mean like a sample of the letter?
Like a sample letter.
Like a template. Yeah.
Abdul, that might be something. And Nazli, that might work, couldn't it? If we have a sample letter that says what this letter is. Sorry, Abdul.
Yeah, because in South Asian culture, the girls are okay to talk with the mother, or mother is okay to talk with the girl when it comes to sexuality issues. But there is a barrier between father and son. So, when it comes to prostate issue, then there will be father and son communication is little bit hard. But when it comes to any other, like for women's issues, then mother and daughters, they are very close, like there's a friendly kind of things.
Abdul, I'm glad you raised it because the issue that came out through was in research that was done in Bolton with Healthwatch Bolton. That research, one of the recommendations was about the conversation around men and men's health and their understanding of what these letters mean and their barriers to what they might be presenting women going forward. So that was what was picked up within that report. And that's one of the reasons why we're really keen that we have a project focusing around men that are actually engaging men and having a conversation which dispel some of these myths around what those letters are about, and have
Yeah.
that conversation, say actually what this is about. It's about love, it's about protection, it's about safety, it's about making sure that your loved ones are around for as long as you're around, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm all for it, Abdul. So thanks for raising it. I'm very conscious that through our time of doing this short little quiz, we've got to almost the hour.
Yeah.
So thank you all for being part of our day to day. Is there any things that you as individuals want to talk about your work, or your things that you coming up that you want to raise at this point? Abdul?
In my job, part of my job since last 35 years, I deliver cultural competence training 2 hours about South Asian communities, their religion, cultural practices, languages, what things like barriers. So if any organization, anybody wants me to do that, there is no charge or fee, anything. If it's face-to-face, give me a cup of tea and tea cake. If it's virtual, then nothing, I don't need. And I am available to provide that either face-to-face or Zoom or Team.
Thanks, Abdul. That's really, thanks for that offer, because it's a great offer. Seriously, I mean, your experience and what you've been doing in the boroughs that you're involved in is fabulous, and so fabulous that you're in part of our work too. Anybody, Trace? Anybody else? Sorry, known as Tom. Do you have any comments or thoughts?
No, but it was interesting hearing how, like I think you just mentioned, Kirit, how it links to the stuff we're doing with men's engagement for all kind of health issues there as well. So it's just some nice thoughts there from Abdul.
No, thanks, Tom. And I think linking it all together really is quite good, that we will, and some really good examples of some of the proposals I'm talking about, that if they are funded, are around sports clubs and things, that kind of ventures. So that would be quite interesting. Yeah, so that's good. Nazaleen, I know that you're new. Any thoughts, any comments?
I'm just listening to everyone now.
Yeah.
Sometime we should listen.
No, it's good. It's good, but definitely we'd do like your input and your contributions. So it's fabulous that you're involved.
I'm just thinking to ever. Recently, I have joined one group which is Indians in Manchester. So there are a lot of females there. So I'm thinking to put a word so that if they are not aware of that, at least they will get aware, because a little step is very important, isn't it?
No, for sure, Nazaleen. I think there's so many of these networks that we just are not aware of. I mean, I didn't know there was that network. So if there is that network, then how do we kind of have that conversation with them to start as a start, and then get them involved or excited about what we're doing? Not in a kind of, it doesn't have to be, it's small, big or small, isn't it? That's what we're trying to do. So that's fabulous, Nazaleen. So let's keep us posted. And invite us when they're doing dinner. Invite us. Tracy, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just to say that I do think it's important that we do get the message out to men and tell them how important it is that their wives, mothers, daughters, whoever it is, goes for whatever screening they're invited to, and perhaps a little bit of education around why it's important. And I'd be happy to get involved in anything like that. And then the other thing is, on our website, if I send you a link, Kirit, which you can share with everybody, we've got lots of breast screening films in different languages. There's lots of information in different languages, things about learning disabilities, physical disabilities. So there's a whole host of information on our webpage, which I update quite regularly. So I'll send you all a link to that, and then you can have a look.
Okay, and we'll add it to our bulletin that we send out regularly. Maybe we just have it as an ongoing, always there. That's in those bulletins. When they go out, Tracy, they go out with information. Okay. Fabulous, Tracy. Martin, have I missed out anything that I should have raised?
No, I don't think so. I was just going to share in the chat feature a link which has got a toolkit for breast screening awareness. So it's got the quiz that we just did earlier on. There's also some other resources in there which people might find useful if they're doing anything around breast cancer.
Yeah, excuse me, guys. My cough is doing my head in now. But then my final thoughts, just before you all go, we're doing the launch of Girl Gang Manchester's video around cervical screening. I know it's related to our program. It's a fabulous 5-minute little video which they produced. It's an online event. We're hoping to have it face to face. It's on 18th of November between 6:30 and 8 o'clock. And we'd love you if you could be there. It's obviously free because there's no charge, but so it's a shame that we can't do face-to-face, but we'd love you to be there. And please, if you can come along, just keep that down. We'll send the links out, but if you make a note in your diary, it's the Thursday. Am I right, Mark? I'm saying the right day, don't I? I'm going to look in my diary now because I'm saying it wrong. It is definitely the 18th of.
Certainly 18th.
Definitely the 18th of November.
Yeah, Thursday. You're
November.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, 6:30 till 8 o'clock. And what we aim to do is launch the video, but also to do the video is in a very light-hearted attempt to have a conversation around cervical screening. But I think it has relevance in terms of all the other stuff we talked about tonight as well. But also, I think we also want to add an element of some comedy or some other way of just making it, because it's sometimes quite a difficult subject to talk about. So there's a kind of a good side to it, really, and hope on the back of that we want to create a campaigning activities around it, because that will lead to January, because January will be cervical screening awareness week, is it, Martin? I can't remember this. I can figure the months now in my dates.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Just say yes, Martin. We're knowledgeable, informed people. It's January. I know it's definitely January. Okay, so put on that note, I'll say thank you so much for contributing and taking part and showing your wealth of knowledge and some of your not so good knowledge on the subject of breast cancer screening. And we look forward to our next monthly chat. And we'll also keep you informed about our face-to-face meetings as well as they're coming up soon. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll put the link and the recording onto our YouTube channel so you can see us all there and all in glory. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.